Good morning, good evening, good morning, everyone, or whatever the time you have right now, and from whenever you are watching me. So, Microsoft Flight Simulator. It was a revolutionary, a program that represented unprecedented generation leap by combining different technological innovations to offer a flight simulator with unbridled ambition. The title from a Soho studio represents our entire planet dynamically, a world with the large cities and the small towns, its mountains, ridges, and lakes, its enormous airports and small runways, in which weather conditions, air currents, and many other variables are simulated. A virtual representation of the Earth can be explored without limits in airplanes, recreated with a great visual and mechanical detail. It is a title so surprising, so incredible, so impossible that just few years ago that is appealing even to those who would do not find the proposal of the flight simulator attractiveness. It's a milestone that everyone should try, or at least see, as happened in the days in the Google Earth. So Microsoft Simulator 2024 is understood among of the other things as the answer to the one of the drawbacks that the general public can put its own precedent. Flight Simulator fans have marveled the 2020 title with its faithful tips in every sense of digital recreation of our planet. And at the same time, it has created a new fans. But many of those millions of users who tried it out of technological curiosity were missing something that caught their attention, a direction, a progression. That means that not only they're turning the programs and the applications, the simulator, into their video game. So there is a lot of activities and the challenges, a career mode and other more directed challenges that are superimposed on the fantastic simulation of the previous title, while taking advantage on the improvement and content add throughout the numerous fee updates that have been released over and over 4 years, and many other new features and improvements are incorporated into the simulation. On the paper, it's what wanted Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 to be. Partly is okay, but not always, due to somewhat poor execution and execution of the sound features and the numbers of the flaws that were not there before. For 4 years later, with our flying skills quite rusty, our first solo flight was once again an experience of intense and inevitable emotions. Moving down the runway once we received permission and the right speed and a tanking off at the right time, correlating the physical and digital indicators of the plane, understanding them and handling a vehicle is taking into account what those numbers and percentages represent. Navigating with ease uh, without turning sharply or accidentally erratically throughout the points indicated both on the board and in digital navigation system, controlling speed with the precision, descendingly gradually deploying the flaps and landing the gear, touching the runway, stopping a few meters before the parking lot and driving to, turning off the engine. When you manage to do this after hours of the tutorials and many failures, it is a pleasurable of defeating difficult boss in a from software video games. Passing the similar test for the helicopters, a device that will give you a headache just to get off the ground, is as satisfying as finally defending the Millennium. And there are more gliders, fighters, seaplanes, passenger planes, and the other machines with the other own particulars to learn a long process even when activating the assistance and that video game offers. But those feelings aren't most of types of vehicles were already there or were added for the free. In the title from the 4 years ago, what is he now learning and is developing our skills and structures? Nothing prevents us from ascending the tutorials available in the activities menu and learning to handle each machine at our own pace, heading the instruction of an instructor who throws out somewhat sarcastic phrases like, I think a little more practice might be a good idea, tackling with the clearly described problems in the successive repetitions and gradually improving our score. However, in the most cases and for most players, it's better to go throughout all these process throughout the brand new career mode. After creating our digital avatar, we choose a small airport from which we'll take our first steps, which is very cool. There are huge numbers of airfields represented not realistically but in a nice way. In the video games, there is probably 1 year out of your own town you didn't know even about. The structure is not too different from that of the example of Gran Turismo. Once you have obtained the license to fly the planes, you can test an assignment that grant credits and reputation. They are used to access exams for other types of flight that require different skills to learn, and by passing them, you unlock another series of the jobs to do all over the globe. Gradually, we go from being a captain who flies tourist flights in a plane over the Plaza España to Seville to piloting the put out fires in the northwest of Pennsylvania, going throughout activities such as displaying advertising messages in scales of the coast, delivering goods, and other side of world reaching difficulty to access mountains by helicopters to rescue the people. So for the first time, we do each of those activities are very satisfying, but it doesn't take long problems to surface caused by very nature of the game, but how it's built. On the other hand, without necessarily entering into the category of problem, there is a fact that it is a still demanding simulator. Even after going all the tutorials, it is easy to get lost in terminology and forget some step or detail that we learned hours ago that we have not applied for many more hours, and there are many relatively important things that are not explained clearly. Along a similar line of the controls, it is clearly designed um, to be handled with a keyboard, mouse, and if possible, some accessory for the flight simulators. You can play with a controller, and it's certainly be headache to adapt to it, but it is noticeable only a pad or together with the keyboard and mouse. There are important inaccuracies that are difficult to tackle with the buttons and keys, especially when they're handling the helicopters. So, what should I say? In conclusion, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 builds on the still surprising foundation of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Everything magnificent, surprising, innovative, and mind-blowing of the simulators are still. In addition to taking everything that was there a little further, also taking advantage of the many updates that they have released over the course of 4 years. And what Asobo Studio is proposing is that the simulator is more of the video game, and thus management to capture those players who were interested in previous title not for its faithful simulation of airplanes, but for its technological revolution, especially for the representation of our world. The move has gone poorly because it relies more than technologically allows today on the automation of the generation content on the stage, the Earth, which is not designed by hand either. So, the result, 2 weeks after its release and after several updates, the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 feels like unfinished game and it released on its content activities to a technology that is not ready yet, but it is already a majestic game. And yet we can't stop remembering the first time we took the skydivers to jump out of the plane, or where we made solo helicopter flight for the first time without accidents, or we visited the temples in Japan almost if we are there, or we, after many more attempts that we would like to admit, we successfully landed on an oil ring in the middle of the Washington and the ocean. As so much wrapping paper is a bit dirty and not exactly pretty, gift itself is still amazing. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, the sky is not the limit, it is the artificial intelligence. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and comment. All the links will be in the description. And peace, you guys. You have wonderful whatever. Bye.